Perfect! Yan ang naging simula ng Coca-Cola Tigers sa likod ng immovable mountain na si Ali Peak. Nakatatapos lamang i-record ang all-time best perfect field goal performance. Peak went 12 for 12 from the field against the Aces para sa ikalawang dikit na panalo ng mga Tigers.
Oh, nice pass para kay Ali Peak.
Naging mainit din ang simula ng Purefoods Chunky Giants ng kanilang talunin ng Santa Lucia Realtors with James Yap's big game.
Ang dati to James Yap! Ito na naman! Ito naman natin nakikita yun.
Sa kanilang napipintong pagtutos, maghihiwalay ang kanilang mga landas. Isa sa kanila ang makakatikim ng unang pagkatalo. Purefoods kontra Coca-Cola. Walang gustong paawat, bakbakang walang import. Pinoy sa Pinoy, laban kung laban.
There is a basketball beatitude that says, "Blessed are the cellar dwellers, for they have nowhere to go but up." And it is so apropos for the Coca-Cola Tigers, who were left behind in the last Fiesta Conference. But here in the early goings of the Philippine Cup, they are racing ahead, surging ahead of the team standing. Magandang hapon po sa kanilang lahat. The undefeated Coca-Cola Tigers reaction this afternoon. Laban po sa Purefoods Chunky Giants dito po sa Araneta Coliseum. Miko Halili kasama si El Tecano, Senyor Quirito Henson for the first game of today's doubleheader dito sa ABC Sports.
At Nico, maganda rin naman ang chaleco natin. Out of uniform na rin ito. Hindi, in uniform pala.
Oo. Tayo ay ano lamang, gusto lang natin maiba para ABC. Iba tayo at ibang-iba ang pinapakita po ng Coca-Cola. Kinito, they are really surprising everyone. There are two teams with 2 wins and no losses in the tournament. Yung isa, Hinebra. Wala naman siguro nagugulat doon, ano?
Okay.
Yung isa naman, Coca-Cola. The Tigers are shocking everybody with their performance here in the tournament.
Well, clearly they're off to a roaring start. Makikita natin sa ating team standings. Yes, Coca-Cola on top of the roost. At nandun naman ang Purefoods, no? Both teams unbeaten kanya. Maganda itong laro na ito. As you said earlier, Biko, one team will end this game with a first loss. Both teams also want to deliver a very early statement sa ating Philippine Cup. Alam naman po natin itong Coca-Cola coming from behind. Last place po sila sa Fiesta Conference. And Purefoods very frustrated in the attempt to win that Fiesta Conference Championship, finishing second. Both teams want to say that they are legitimate title threats for this All-Filipino Championship.
And you know, there's nothing complex about the success of Coca-Cola dito sa ating torneo. Perfect record. Why? Because of a player who has been perfect so far, si Ali Peak. As a matter of fact, he was so perfect in the last game. Hindi po siya nagpintis ni isang beses doon sa huling laro ng Coca-Cola.
Well, we call him the Mountain Peak, and sure enough, he scaled the mountaintop. In that game, 12 out of 12 from the floor, finishing with 27 points. At makikita natin kung saan po nanggaling yung mga tira niya, no? Remember that Ali Peak worked very hard for those 12 field goals. Mga kaibigan, he only had 1 offensive rebound, meaning to say, karamihan ng mga tira niya, almost exclusively, as you see in our shot charts, came from sariling sikap. Wala siya mga putbacks doon, no? Only 1 offensive rebound for Ali Peak, and he worked hard for those shots. He only had 2 assists, meaning to say that the offense of Coca-Cola went through the Mountain Peak in that game.
Kaya nararapat lamang na throughout this game, babantayan namin ng gusto ang ipapakita ni Ginoong Ali Peak. Will he continue his, man-mountain ways? Will he continue carrying the Tigers on his very, very big, broad shoulders? Hindi alam na marami. Ali Peak actually one of the shortest centers in the PBA today, but certainly one of the strongest.
Oh, one of the strongest, one of the bulkiest too. His wide body takes a lot of space inside the paint. At alam mo naman natin mga kaibigan, itong Philippine Cup natin, which is an all-Filipino tournament, is an opportunity for the centers, the big men, to display their wares. Wala na pong import dito, no? In the last conference, well, Coca-Cola had to struggle with a lot of imports, and that took away a lot of the game of Ali Peak. Now, he's his chance to show what he can do.
Ngayon, paano po mapipigilan itong si Ali Peak? Yan ang magiging layunin ng mga malaking mama ni Coach Ryan Gregorio. Sino-sino ang magtatangkang pigilan, pugsuin itong si Ali Peak. And that's going to be a committee job. Hindi lang isang tao yan, Kinito.
Oh, without a doubt. No? In fact, three men come to mind when you're talking of the possible defenders of Ali Pic. No? Si Kirby Raimundo, Mark Pincris, at saka si Jun Limpot. Okay, remember mga kaibigan, si John Dan Salvador is going to be out for about 6 months because of that ACL tear. So he's not going to be able to play in this game. So, by committee, at sabi natin, well, it's going to have to be that way because it looks like Purefoods will do a double or maybe even a triple team on Ali Pic just to take away his offense in this game.
Well, yung mga malaking mama, they'll have their hands full in trying to control Ali Pic. Over in the backcourt of Purefoods, all eyes will be on James Carlos Yap. Boys Thunder had a thunderous performance in the opening game of Purefoods in the Philippine Cup, knocking home 34 career-high points. At wala namang kaduda-duda yung kagalingan, yung angking talino ni James Yap pagdating sa basketball court.
Inspirado ang bata natin. Yan, si Boy Thunder, no? And you see his stats in that first game leading Purefoods to that rousing victory. Opening game po yan ng Chunky Giants. You talk about being inspired. Well, he certainly wants to show that, alam mo, star siya dito sa league because, of course, we all know his sweetheart is also a star in her own right. Pareho po silang celebrity stars.
And back inside the big dome, kasama rin natin sa ating coverage team, Senyor Domingo El Conquistador, Dominic Uy.
Thank you, Miko. Kanina niyo pa pinag-uusapan ang Coca-Cola Tigers at dalawa ang leader sa team na yan. Usually, isa lang ang leader, pero dito sa team na to, dalawa. Hindi lang si Ali Pic, but pati itong si John Arrigo. He's been taking a backseat, pero okay lang sa kanya yun. Sabi niya, the team is a lot more cohesive now and he's willing to step back. Sabi nga niya, ngayon, at least, hindi sila naghahabol ng panalo. Sabi niya, oras-oras lang naman yan eh. Ngayon, last game, Ali Pic. Ngayon naman, it could be a John Arrigo game. And that's been very happy itong si Coach Binky Favis because of the attitude like that. Sabi nga niya, they've been sharing the responsibility of the scoring. That's why they've had 2 wins. Miko?
Well, hindi naman po ipagkakaila na itong Coca-Cola is a team still in transition, transferring from head coach Chotres to coach Eric Altamirano and now to coach Vincent Binky Favis, one of the more emotional, one of the more vocal coaches that we have in the PBA today.
And he's very deep in thought right now. Nakita natin si Binky Favis. Nakayuko po siya sa bench. Very, very pensive. And looking for his 3rd straight victory. And those 2 first wins ng Coca-Cola came via a succession of blowouts. An average winning margin of 16.5 points in the first 2 games of Coca-Cola over Air 21 and Alaska. Now, you talk about the lineup of Coca-Cola, you've got to talk about their twin towers. Si Rafi Rivas and Ali Pic make a formidable twosome in the front line. Makikita po natin the starting lineups now of both teams. Check out Purefoods playing with the 2 Yaps in the backcourt. And of course, this is an all-Filipino tournament. Wala pong imports dito. So you will see now a lot of new roles being played by key local players. As you see, for instance, here, see James Yap sliding over to number 2. Roger Yap playing number 1. Later on, we'll probably see Roger Yap sliding over to number 2. We had an occasion to discuss this with Dominic Uy before this game. And I'm sure in the course of our coverage, he will be giving us a lot of tidbits and sidelights as to new player roles now that we're engaged in an all-Filipino tournament.
Oh, Miko, you know, itong sinabi mo nga, we were talking about it, that Roger Yap might be able to play alongside Paul Artadi in today's game. You know, we know that the quickness of those 2 guys will be really good para dito sa Chunky Giants. Pero yung sabi ni Coach Ryan Gregorio, yung dalawang tinitignan niya na magandang lalaro in this conference, Jun Limpot and Paul Artadi, who've been really working on their games. At, you know, a sidelight on Jun Limpot. Itong si Jun Limpot, sabi na, it's a blessing in disguise na 9 minutes lang yung average ng si Limpot last conference because he's coming out in this conference very fresh.
Well, 33 minutes in the last game, or rather the first game of Jun Limpot, na nakita natin. Limpot and Ali Pic very early in this game, nagigira na. They're already jockeying for position. They're butting up against each other. That's going to be a confrontation. Look at that, Limpot versus Pic.
Well, Limpot is going to need every ounce of experience in his grizzled body to try and match up with Pic. So Will Antonio knocks in the first 2 points para sa Coca-Cola Tigers.
Well, it's key that the shooters of Coca-Cola, namely Antonio and John Arrigo, and throw in Denok Miranda as well, no, are in sync offensively because that will give an opportunity for a lot of the big men to work their magic inside the paint. Be easier for them to move around if the hot shooters from the outside are clicking.
Foul spotted by Noel Kilingen. Noel, by the way, is working this ball game along with Floncio Lava and the crew chief today, Mr. Mar Montiel, the former referee of the year. Sa mga unang bahagi tayo ng ating laro. Yung mga napula, yan po ang Purefoods Chunky Giants. As James Yap scores the first TM3 of the ball game. Atid sa inyo ng bagong TM. Power to the people. 1-point lead para sa Purefoods. And the ball won't trickle in. Rebound para kay Raimundo, who starts the ball game with Roger Yap, James Yap, Jun Limpot, and Mark Pingris, who I expect to really blossom now because of the injury to John Dan Salvador. He's going to get a lot more playing time. He's going to get a lot more confidence and a lot more looks at the basket para sa Purefoods.
Oh, I think so. No? Mapapasabak siya sa labanan talaga. And Mark Pingris has showed tremendous potential in his first conference with Purefoods last time out. And sabi mo nga, no, I think this is his opportunity. This is his time to show what he can do, especially since he's such a hard worker underneath the boards. Ito yung matchup, no? Si Jun Limpot bringing Ali Pic way outside. And you have to respect Jun Limpot's outside shot.
There's a steal by Miranda, the rookie, over to Rivas. Yan yung maganda kay Denok Miranda. Very steady decision-making on the floor. Kaya naman FEU was so successful with Miranda at the quarterback spot nung naglalaro pa siya sa UAAP.
And he's learning, of course, from one of the game's best, si Johnny Abarientos, who's now coming off the bench. Together, Miranda and Abarientos had 9 combined assists in Coca-Cola's last game, that victory over Alaska.
Boy, Miranda is getting the best point guard education, I believe, in the PBA because he is playing alongside Johnny A. And he is playing for team manager, the one, the only, Hector, the Director Calma.
Oh, nga, no? So he's really getting it from both worlds. Best of both worlds.
At saka ano yan, linya talaga yan because Hector was Johnny's idol and Johnny is Denok's idol.
Oh, nga, no? Parang sa generation.
Oo, parang gano'n. Here's Roger Yap over to James Yap. James Yap slicing through. You know, there is a different hop to the step of James Yap dito sa Philippine Cup. No? He looks very, very determined.
Well, he's playing very, very confidently. That's for sure. Now, ang tumatao dito kay James Yap is John Arrigo, and I don't think Yap respects Arrigo's defense too much. He's just walking all over Arrigo. I don't know if that's also a defensive matchup that Coca-Cola will want to keep.
Lamang po ang Purefoods, 5-4 with over 8 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Bola ng Miranda, kanang bahagi ng court, pinasa kay Big. Nang gulo doon si Roger Yap. That's his specialty, getting those steals. And here comes Mark Pingris. Medyo mababa yung kanyang bounce pass. And James Yap tried mightily to save that basketball to no avail.
Mabilis na kababa sa depensa dun si Rafi Rivas, and that prevented Mark Pingris from going strong to the hole. Had to change his mind and resulting in that turnover.
Kami po ay nagagalak na makasalo kayo ngayong Miyerkules ng hapon. Ay po kami mula rito sa Araneta Coliseum, Championship Capital. Si Antonio off to a good start in this ball game with a TM3 atid sa inyo ng bagong TM, Power to the People. Here's Roger Yap. Pinasa kay Limpot. 6 to shoot para sa Purefoods. Limpot now has to shoot the basketball. He fires and he won't score. Arrigo. To Antonio, who is red hot here in the opening quarter. Not that time. Deep to Miranda. They swing it over to Arrigo. The ball is back with Antonio. He fakes. He goes to Arrigo. Arrigo is thinking about the shot with 15 on the shot clock. Arrigo, what will he do? He goes baseline, and he was hammered inside.
No offensive foul ang tatawagan.
Oh, he collided with Raimundo, who did a good job of setting up camp under the basketball.
Ako napansin ko, no, ito si Ali Pic. Once he gets the ball at the post, Purefoods would like Roger Yap to apply the double team because he's such a pesky defender. especially since he's so short and he's got fast hands. Now what Denok Miranda is doing is that he's taking Roger Yap over to the left side if Ali Peak is on the right side, so it makes it difficult for Roger Yap to double team Ali Peak.
Ingres, top of the key, pinasa kay Raimundo. Chunky Giants down by 2. Raimundo inside.
That's taking steps. Again, yung depensa ni Rafi Rivas, but he really makes a change of shot. He's got those long arms. Mahaba to si Rafi Rivas. Not only does he have long arms, he's also got that long, elongated body.
And long socks. Well, not today. Normally, naka-long socks yan. Okay, timeout tayo with 6:51 to go in the opening quarter. The undefeated Coca-Cola Tigers are up by 2 points, led by the emotional, the charismatic, the intense Binky Favis. And we'll be back with more action inside the Big Dome after these messages. Ayan po si Coach Vincent Binky Favis. You may remember he was actually part of that championship run by Ginebra with Shotang Kitsen. Siya po yung assistant coach doon. Also helped Coca-Cola win their championship back in 2002. So pagdating po sa championship experience, hindi po nagkukulang etong si Binky.
And he certainly has the tools and the weapons to whip Coca-Cola into a championship caliber team. Okay, sa depensa naman ng Purefoods, dalawang beses na inagawan ng Purefoods ito si Ali Ping, getting the ball over at the low post. First was Roger Yap. Now, just lately, it was Mark Pingers who stole that ball. Check out some data here about Binky Favis.
Oh, he has coached in a lot of places. Amateur, professional.
Pati UST High School yata
Yes.
naka-coach there. And
Correct,
I think he might have won a championship
Yes,
also.
he did, as a matter of fact. And he used to be a UAAP star as a player para sa Glowing Goldies, although he did start his career sa UAAP with the Green Archers kasi Lasal Green Hills itong si Binky.
But one of the feathers in his cap, of course, is his wife is Ella Aldeguer. The sister
That has to
of
be
Dino
that
Aldeguer.
has to be his biggest accomplishment.
So, maswerte siya. Si Ella, of course, kaibigan natin. Ella's father, Per Aldeguer, is a very good friend, and Per is the brother of that boxing patron, si Tony Aldeguer of Cebu.
Well, Nico, going back tong kay Coach Binky Favis, I just want to share with you guys something that I saw dun sa dugout right before the game. Makikita mo siya on the court dito pag nagko-coach siya, very intense. But right before the game, I went into their dugout about an hour before nung laro at makikita mo siya, he was in one chair dun sa may loob ng banyo. Kung makikita niyo yung dugout dito sa Araneta, nakasegregate yung mga banyo. Nandun lang siya mag-isa at nag-iisip, focusing for the game. So makikita mo how intense and how passionate Coach Binky prepares for a game.
Well, kanina nga, during the announcement of the starting lineups, nakayuko siya. Again, very much deep in thought, probably thinking about the matchups, his sub patterns. You always expect 100% performance from Binky Favis as well as his team.
2-point ball game dito sa opening quarter. Lamang po ang Coca-Cola 9-7. Alipiko na basketball, double team. They'll swing it over to Miranda. Miranda move, Miranda no go. But here's the factor I like about Denok Miranda. He is a power point guard. He's not the fastest point guard. He doesn't have the smoothest shooting touch, but he is one of the he's a point guard with good upper body strength. Kanya hindi siya basta-basta pwedeng mamain ng mga kalaban.
Oh, may kaha ito si Denok. No, not only that, I think he is a very intelligent player. He makes very good decisions on the floor. He knows when to take the shot. He knows when to pass the ball. And the Denok Miranda, you see him passing the ball.
Here's a TM3 mula kay Will Antonio. Atid sa inyo ng bagong TM, Power to the People. As Miranda knocks in the second free throw, si Pingres ang tinawagan ng foul, his first personal. By the way, a former member of Purefoods, Billy Mamaril, is now in the game para sa Coca-Cola Tigers. Pinalitan si Rafi Rivas, who is now in foul trouble with 2 personal fouls. James Yap fakes and fires, no goal. Bola na punta kay Lipot, bagong shot clock para sa Purefoods. Al Tadi is now in the game for the first time. And Kid Lightning's shot is swatted away by Mamaril.
Now, key to that defensive formation ng Coca-Cola is that they had a last line of defense. Nakawala dun si Artadi from his guard, who was Denok Miranda. But nandun yung last line of defense. Mamaril swatting that ball away.
Now this is a very, very flexible backcourt para kay Binky Favis. You have Miranda and then you have Singson, who can also play the point guard spot.
Exactly. Siya nga nagdala ng bola, no? That time out. And Denok Miranda shifting over to number 2 spot. I think they want Denok Miranda to match up against James Yap. And Artadi now, that time he got away. And kanina, he didn't get away.
That's why you call him Kid Lightning. Yes, very quick. Antonio to Singson. Singson, what's he doing? Posting up Binky. And that's going to happen. Post up John Mark Binky. Never shoot para sa Tigers. Bola na kay Pick. Singson can't shoot. He runs over Artadi for an offensive foul.
Well, Coca-Cola's offense is not quite in sync because you know that there is a concerted effort to put the ball in the hands of Pick. And Pick is getting doubled and he's had to pass the ball. And that offense is not quite in sync as a result.
Lamang pa rin ang Coca-Cola ng dalawa, 11-9 here in the opening quarter of play. You're looking at Denok Miranda, former FEU Tamarao. Here's his matchup with Paul Artadi. Nag-abot to sa UAAP when Artadi was still playing for UE. Denok has shown that he really can play among men in the last conference. It's really Paul Artadi who has to prove his worth. Kasi nung last conference, wala sa masyado pinakita. But here in the Philippine Cup, this is really an opportunity for him to show his stuff.
Well, certainly in that first game ng Purefoods, nagpakita na si Paul Artadi. Double 8 ang ginawa niya, no? 8 points and 8 assists. And those figures certainly aren't bad for a point guard who came off the bench and played 21 total minutes. He was 3 out of 7 from the floor and 2 out of 3 from the free throw line. And that 2 out of 3 performance is a marked improvement considering that in the last conference, he shot less than 50%. In fact, one of only 10 players who had a higher field goal percentage than their free throw percentage, which is very unusual. You usually shoot free throws with a higher percentage than from the field because you're not guarded.
Oh, I read that column. But a few times I got hold of your newspaper. Kasi hinihintay ko yung padala mo na complimentary.
Akala ko palagi sold out.
Yes, Bobra yung kanyang tira. And Mamaril clearing the rebound para sa Tigers. Under 4 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Here's Antonio. After making his first couple of shots, nagbimintis siya ngayon. Artadi on the move. Artadi trying to squeak past the Barrientos. No go on the outside shot. Pero mapapansin mo hinito, no? Si Paul Artadi, he's more aggressive now. Parang hindi na siya ngayon nahihiya or natsatsahe, no? To take matters into his own hands.
Kailangan lang eh. And I'm sure Coach Ryan Gregory and Assistant Coach Ronnie Magsanok have been telling him that he's got to play with a lot more confidence if he's to make his mark in this league. Look at this backdoor play here by Purefoods. Oh, but wala pakakatawad doon si Mark Inglis. And Artadi losing possession. Alam mo, magandang matchup din yan, ha? Si Abarientos at saka si Paul Artadi. I would say that Artadi would be at least a step quicker than Johnny Abarientos because of the age difference. But hey, Abarientos is a lot smarter.
Johnny A is Johnny A.
Oh, again, look at that double team on Ali Peak.
Ball hugging, oh.
Oh, yes.
That's what Purefoods has been doing on Ali Peak. They've really put the clamps on Ali. At hindi makakita ng ano to, ha? Wala po ang pagkakataon.
Exactly. He has no space to maneuver. And that time, si Paul Artadi nag-double team.
Let's go to Dominic.
Talking about Paul Artadi, sinasabi niyo nga kanina na maganda linalaro niya. And I said that Coach Ryan is expecting that from him. Pero sabi nga niya, the challenge to Paul Artadi is to play within his strengths. Meaning, pagka binibigay sa kanya yung 3 points, dapat mag-step in siya and one shot. Kasi yun yung pinapractice na ngayon sa ensayo, yung mga medium range jump shots niya. So sabi niya, ni Coach Ryan, I'm actually trying to motivate them using their mind. Sabi na, play within your strengths lang. Nico?
Salamat, Dominic. James, have nothing wrong with the outside shot of James Yap
That
as
was a
he ties
difficult
the game.
shot. It was a step-back jumper by James Yap.
Rebound para kay Raimundo. And a near steal by Johnny A, who almost goes overboard. Halos sa tapakan yung mga kaibigan natin from the press corps.
A very low-scoring ball game, 2:16 to go here in our first period. And look at the score. Both teams are tied at 11 apiece. And Ali Peak has not scored a single point sa game na to. Ano ba nangyayari dito, no? I think Jun Lipot did an excellent job of denying possession. Of course, that double team, that is a definite rule here. Pag nakahawak ng bola si Ali Peak, kaagad may double team. And now it's Mark Pingris who's taking care of Ali Peak one-on-one. Matindi ito ginagawa ng Purefoods kay Ali Peak. Purefoods wants to play a defensive game, and so far so good para sa kanila, although they have not, well, they did lead at only once at 3-2.
Abarientos, 15-footer on the way, showing Artadi how it's done. Johnny A, the former PBA MVP, gives Coca-Cola 2-point lead, 13-11. Under 2 minutes to play dito sa opening quarter. Bola na kay Artadi. Pinasa sa kanyang matarik na kaibigan, si James Yap. Laban kay Simpson. James Yap, step back, fishing for a foul. No dice. Ito na si Abarientos. Abarientos over to Wainwright. Wainwright spots up, 3-point. Basket on the way. No, it's a two-pointer. It's a two-pointer para kay Wainwright, and it's a 4-point ball game in favor of Coca-Cola.
Abarientos making a difference. Kanina siya nakatira ng field goal, and then in that last play, he had the assist.
Ray Evangelista. Binigay kay Raimundo, 8 to shoot. Under a minute to play at may 2-point lead pa rin ang Coca-Cola, 15-13. Sing-song cross-court pass to Wainwright. Mamaril. Binigay kay Abarientos. 11 to shoot para sa Coca-Cola. Abarientos on the move. Abarientos. No go. Ali Pig. Will he score for the first time? No! His first miss in 2 games. Dahil di nagmintis tong si Ali nung
Well,
last game.
he's getting frustrated because of the defense of Purefoods. At kanina napansin natin, nagkaroon ng defensive switch. Si Ray Evangelista, a much taller defender, was on Johnny Abarientos all the way from the backcourt. Reason being that yung sinabi natin kanina, the last 2 offensive plays ng Coca-Cola, it was Johnny Abarientos who orchestrated. He sank the field goal and he dished off for the open look for Rob Wainwright. So let's see whether that defensive matchup will hold. Evangelista on Johnny Abarientos. Meanwhile, free throws coming up for Pingris.
Definitely, Pingris's move from Air 21 to Purefoods, I believe, was a win-win situation because that really allowed Ranedel De Ocampo more room to operate, more playing time to really blossom into his own. At para naman kay Pingris, he adds a very wide and athletic body dito sa Purefoods. At tamang-tama naman dahil nawala pa itong si John Dan Salvador.
Yes, and of course, ang kailangan ng Purefoods is more bulk, more rebounding strength,
and more inspiration. Kasi inspirado rin itong si Pingris.
Oo, tama. Si DS pala, no?
Oo.
Si Danica Soto,
Yes.
ang kanyang girlfriend that I was in fact listening to an interview with Danica and Danica's mother, si Dina Bonneville.
Who Dina is an inspiration to everybody.
Yes, of course. But, well, now, after that conversation, naging inspiration na din ni Mark Pingris si Dina Bonneville. Kung hindi, mag-iingat siya.
Here's Wainwright from the corner! No, in and out. And the ball goes out of bounds and will go to Purefoods. Si Pingris ay uupo muna, and Richard Yee is in the game for the first time. Tigers up by 1 here, 15-14. 9 seconds to go bago matapos ang opening quarter. Raimundo against Mamaril.
Zone defense being played here by Coca-Cola.
Shot mula kay James Yap at magtatapos ang opening quarter of play. The Coca-Cola Tigers undefeated dito sa Grand Matador Philippine Cup, facing Purefoods The Giants are looking for win number 2. And Coach Binky Favis is as vocal as always on that Coca-Cola sideline. At ito ang ating score update, sir. Handog sa inyo ng Gold Eagle Beer, sir. Pangkondisyon sa may ambisyon.